Hi, I'm Greg Brown. Welcome to my Freshworks Masterclass on Happy Sales and Team Management. I'm currently the CEO of a performance management company here in the Bay Area called Reflektive. I started my career in SaaS companies here in Silicon Valley, starting with sales and graduating to senior leadership roles where I am today. A great sales culture is similar to the culture you would see in a high-performing sports team. And I think a good example of that is the U.S. women's soccer team. So when we all have the pleasure of watching them do their thing out there on the pitch, what you see is, you see a team that's working extremely well together and free, unencumbered, not playing tight, they play loose. With an undercurrent, if you will, or underbelly of a sense of responsibility for making sure that they're bringing their A game every day to ensure that the team has the best chance to win. And I think those qualities and characteristics are very similar to what I've seen in high-performing sales teams. People analytics and data analytics in general are very applicable to leading and managing sales organizations. With respect to decision making, there's no question that the more data points you have and the more data that you can acquire to inform decisions, the better chance you have of getting those decisions right. That really applies to all levels of a sales organization. For example, sales managers, if they have more insight and information as to what a top performer looks like in their organization, the actions they take, the specific processes they use, and how they translate into closed business and wins, the better off they're going to be able to apply that to the hiring process so they can ensure that they've got a better chance of bringing those types of individuals with those characteristics into the organization. Further, I think when you're leading a sales team or really a team in general, the more data points you have to point to support the decisions you're making or the decisions you've made to move in a specific direction, the better you can get the team bought in, right? Because data, as they say, it doesn't lie, and it can give you the ability to get more support for the direction you're trying to go. I think with respect to managing high performers, it really is more about refining specific areas of their skill set versus trying to identify big gaps because they've already filled those gaps, which is why they're a high performer. So I think the nuance is giving them coaching and direction that they can then take and build off of, because typically high performers are also very self-motivated and don't need a lot of kind of poking to get out and get after it. So it's giving them the direction, fine-tune those areas that can take them from being an A player to an A+ player. With respect to the average performers, those are the type of individuals, which is typically a larger group in an organization. It really does require some time and attention to identifying the specific gaps that have been holding them back from becoming that next level performer, and then defining a specific and tailored set of outcomes and a plan to go achieve those outcomes. It's measurable, so you can measure along the way. Modify as necessary, coach as necessary to ultimately get them to the level they want to be at, which is a higher performer. One of the prior companies that led the sales and services organization was a company called Achievers that was a recognition engagement company. We acquired a tremendous amount of data, what motivates individuals, and the data was crystal clear that intrinsic motivation, reward if you will, in terms of the recognition, the public recognition, was far superior in terms of its ability to motivate individuals and to make folks really feel rewarded for the work that they've done. It really just comes down to human needs, basic needs, that the intrinsic motivation really is, at the end of the day, what we care most about. Regardless of whether or not it might be deemed that salespeople are coin-operated, at the end of the day, they really do react much more positively to that recognition amongst their peers that the work that they have done has really resulted in adding value to the company and being recognized for it. I think the reason that more sales leaders don't use non-monetary rewards is because there's a common old adage that salespeople are coin-operated, that it's really money that motivates them. But the reality is that that's just not the case. It is the recognition amongst their peers, in addition to those types of monetary rewards, that is the secret sauce. And it really is not one or the other, and shouldn't be. It really should be both. And I think the best organizations out there recognize that, and leaders invest the time, resource, and energy to provide that balance. The second component, to a lesser degree, is that it takes more energy and you have to develop specific programs and a way to disseminate that intrinsic recognition amongst the organization and do it in a systematic way versus being able to, just giving somebody a gift card or giving somebody a bonus, what have you. I think it's just easier to get that done. So, more than likely, that's part of the reason why. When providing feedback, I think there's two key points that are relevant. First, it's always helpful if you can give specific examples, scenarios by which you've observed a specific behavior, and then examples of what that behavior should be. On top of that, I think probably most importantly, the why. Right? I think we often see managers earlier in their career tell folks what they want them to do, but they don't give them the why this is important or what the impact is going to be. And I can tell you, look, even with my kids, providing them with the why I want them to do something really, kind of changes the conversation. And I think it does for all of us. It's not just that you're being asked to do something, but really understand what the impact's going to be if in fact you do get that done. So I think it's really important when giving feedback, and it's a formula that's worked well for me.